You get your kicks flying too close to stars? Because you're putting out some interesting radiation. Sounds like you're just the type of pilot the Vanguard's looking for.
You might be Freestar Ranger material.
Give it your all out there. Supra et Ultra.
Don't mess with me!
You think you're just gonna walk up here and get us to surrender?
You killed a Terramorph. Holy shit.
Make us look good out there, recruit.
So tell me, stranger, how do I know you're gonna deal straight with it?
Welcome back, everybody, to a Starfield Report podcast. I am your host, Kenny Smyson, and with me, as always, is Jax. How you doing, Jax?
Doing great. Hello, everyone.
Is everybody having fun with that perfectly flawless experience of the Terran Armada quest line? Because that's what we're going to start today.
Yes, we are. But first, we have an announcement, right? A warning, some may say. If you're playing, we're going to reiterate this because it's very important. Make sure that you start and do the first 2 quests of Terran Armada before you go to Anchor Point, because it will fry your game.
Yep.
You'll have to go back to an early save and start over, because it will halfway through the second quest, it will bug and it won't progress anymore. You won't have the option to progress any longer, and so you'll be stuck with a certain character hanging out with you. You can't get rid of him. You can't talk to him. He won't do anything but fight with you, which, if that's what you want, sure, but
yeah,
you can't progress Terran Armada any further if you go to Anchor Point before the Terran Armada DLC instructs you to go there. So make sure you do Terran Armada before you go to Anchor Point. It's very important.
Yep. And so, we're sorry to be, beating a dead horse on it, but because it's not been fixed yet, we're going to do 5 episodes on Terran Armada, each episode focused on each subsequent quest. But until Bethesda fixes it, we're going to keep reiterating this, because at this point, the only 2 known ways to fix this is to revert to a save before you had already, went to Anchor Point. And that, or to just, if you're already ready for Unity, just hop through it. Depending on how much stuff you've done, you can just hop through the Unity. That way you're not, at least not losing your experience. And if you have any more gear or loot, you can now use the quantum entanglement device, right? The chest. You can, in the lodge, you can keep some of your sweet gear, roll over into a universe, and then head over and start the Terran Armada quest line. Now, thankfully, I had not gotten too far into my gameplay on my combat medic. I had built a ship to start the Terran Armada quest line on my combat medic, but my space tracker, I don't think I'm going to do the Terran Armada quest line. And I've already been to Anchor Point and done a bit of stuff. So at this point, I'm going to keep him going down the broken path. And then so when they fix it, supposedly, I'm going to actually attempt to start it and see what happens, right? And make sure it actually started. Because I already tested it. Yeah, it's bugged. You don't have to get too far into it. And so I played on my space tracker up to the point where the bug is happening, and it's bugged. So I reloaded a save to before I start the Terran Armada quest line, but I'm already a few hours deep into doing freelance content, and I've been to Anchor Point countless times. So I've got two saves there that I'm working on. So my combat medic, he's not going to go to Anchor Point until the main quest has gotten me there, which that'll be the second mission.
Yep.
So to reiterate, don't go.
The easiest way to test if you've got the bug, if it's bugged out for you, is once you get this additional character following you around, if it says talk to him and you turn around to talk to him and he doesn't respond, it's bugged.
Yep.
Boom. That's it. And you can find that out pretty quick once you find the guy.
Yep. And
that's that.
Yeah. Thankfully, it's once you hit that point, it's easy to tell. So, now this is unfortunate because obviously there's a lot of veteran players like ourselves that I mean, not so much us because part of our gameplay is structured around doing this podcast, but other veteran players that have been playing it like us since it launched. You're going to probably buy Anchor Point, or you're going to buy Terran Armada, but you might just go straight to Anchor Point without starting Terran
Just
Armada.
because you want to see the
Yeah.
new spot. Let's go check
Yeah.
it out.
So hopefully those veteran players
Many
are
bones.
savvy enough to, hopefully avoid this issue. But what about all the new PlayStation 5 players that have bought the game, but they did not buy Terran Armada yet because that is extra cost. They're like, okay, I'll pay for the first game and maybe I'll pay
See
for.
if I like the game before I go in full hog.
If this hasn't been fixed by the time they go to play Terran Armada in a few months, the only way to fix it, they're going to be how deep into their gameplay.
At that point, the only fix for them would be go through NG Plus, lose all of their gameplay, and maybe they're not ready to do that. And so they're going to lose whatever ship that they've started experimenting with. They're going to lose whatever outpost they've started experimenting with. It's going to be many hours of frustration and going, well, I guess I'll just and a lot of times what that does with people is they just put the game down. All right, moving on, next game.
Yeah.
So that kind of stumbling block can cause a lot of people just to walk away.
Yeah. And this does seem like it's something that should be able to be hot fixed. There's got to be something in the code where if you have the one character following you, then you just reinsert some line of dialogue to get to talk to him again, and then you can resume the quest and go to Anchor Point at that point. That you would think it.
Pretend like I know.
I know. I mean, I've seen them hotfix bad bugs before, but yeah. So far, and I've not seen any communication from Bethesda on this. So hopefully they are.
To avoid that, how do we get started here? What do we need to do to avoid that bug once we've got 3 lanes and Terran Armada downloaded and we're ready to play?
Well, in order to prevent that bug from happening, you just have to start the Terran Armada quest line. So this most consistently, you have to have gone to the lodge first. I did. One person in the comments said it in an NG Plus. I think he said as soon as he landed in New Atlantis, he did hear the audio thing, even though he had not yet been to the lodge. So maybe there's something where if you're NG Plus, maybe it works, or it just.
That's not what happened to me. It's weird, because I had completely opposite because I started an NG Plus playthrough just to do Terran Armada. So
gotcha.
Because remember, I was having so much lag and so much frame rate drop. I ended up having to go through well, it was when I had the bug, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to jump through the Unity, and then I'll just run over to the SSNN kiosk and listen to the thing. The thing never came up. So I actually had to go step into the lodge, say hi to Sarah. She says, okay, good. You're a Starborn. Have a nice day. I walked out, and that's when I was able to go, and it worked. So if you can't find it, go run to the lodge. And make sure that you're got first steps. Is that what it's called?
I think it's just called the main quest, first steps.
Quest,
and then once Sarah tells you that line of like, okay, go ahead and check things out and come back when you're ready. That's kind of the shackles are free. You should be able to experience bug-free experiences at that point. The tutorial's done. Go have fun, and like on my combat medic, I've just pretended none of that ever happened. Never worked for Argos. Never met the Constellation members. I'm just a combat medic. This is my universe, and So no,
it seems like on that character, you probably should run something like a alternate starts mod.
There isn't one yet. No. I've kept an eye on it. See if somebody's going to make one. The Skyrim alternate start mod was pretty straightforward and easy to do, because a key component to alternate start mod is that you do have to make sure players can get back into the main quest easily. And so in that one, if you started, say, there was like There's
It
like
would start you
servers.
off at a village or in an
Yeah,
inn somewhere alternate or off in the woods in a house or
yeah,
cabin or something, right? There were
yeah.
several different places you could
You
start.
could start off as a guard of a Khajiit caravan somewhere. You get a vampire's thrall in his den. Well,
Mhm,
if you go back to the cave that you come out of, if you
mhm.
go into that cave, you'll see the two guys. What were they? Hagvir and
Toto and Poto.
so you'll you'll see the Imperial soldier and the Stormcloak soldier, right? Because that's in the
Yeah.
tutorial. You get to pick which way to go. You walk up to one of them. I don't think there's any audio, but just but you talk to whichever one you pick to talk to. That's the one that will stand up. You'll heal them because they're both wounded. You'll heal that one heals, and then that one's like, all right, follow me down to what's that little town right there, Riverwood?
Kvatch.
No,
Oh,
no,
you're right. Yes.
Riverwood.
Riverwood.
And
Yeah.
so because both of them have a relative in that town, right? And so that's how this alternate start sets it up. Now, when you talk to one, a massive boulder drops on the other one and kills him, just completely squishes him and
Whoops.
erases him from existence. So with Starfield, though, that's pretty tricky. Like, how would you pull that off? And at what point would you reinsert them or insert them into the quest? Because in Skyrim, there
Yeah.
obviously at that point you've not done any of the Helgen attack, the beheading scene, right? None of that because you're not a prisoner. I mean, I'm guessing they would just the point at well because it's so integral to your character, the Starborn powers and everything. Finding that artifact during the tutorial,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
because there's part of your character creation happens after that.
Right.
So I guess
Yes. Yeah.
I guess they would have to just find a way to if you started an alternate start mod, the lodge is locked, you can't go in, you never come across any of the constellation characters, but then you go to um like the Argos office right there in New Atlantis and say, hey, I want to work for you guys, and then like maybe then it wakes you up on the bed where you've technically already touched the artifact, because anybody doing the alternate start mod, you've already played the main quest. So
Right. It's the whole point is
maybe
I don't want to spend the first
yeah,
hour and a half of my playthrough doing this over again.
yeah. So that would be a good way to do it. You talk to the Argos miner, and then it would basically put you back into the tutorial, but at least after the part where you have to go down and grab the artifact. So at that point, you wake up from the tutorial. It verifies your character, but that's also the character creation part. But maybe it gives you a chance to edit anything about your character at that point if you want. And then
Yeah.
you go
You could do it
outside.
where like you start off in a civilian outpost sitting at the bar, right?
Yeah.
And so as soon as you walk out of the outpost, there's a cave over there. And so you walk into the cave and you find an artifact, and that's how you start getting your powers instead of having to go to the
Oh,
lodge.
there you go. Or it's just a quest. Or if you
Yeah, I mean, some bumbling bozo that's drunk in a
yeah
civilian outpost out in the
yeah
backwaters of nowhere stumbles into a cave half,
yeah
blitzed. What is this thing? It touches it. Poof. Oh, wow.
yeah.
Look at me. I'm a superhero now.
Yeah, I mean that
Right?
could just be when you start the alternate start, you could just have an activity say go check out, go look for this artifact in the cave, and when you get
Yeah.
the
Go check out
artifact,
cave on.
it bypasses all the stuff, and as soon as you pick up the artifact, it says take this to the lodge.
There you go. Yeah.
And the only weird little inconsistency will be you've never met Vasco, but he'll verify to everybody that he's already met you. Or heck, if somebody really
Yeah.
got fun with it, Vasco could be the one. The Vasco could be at the cave already, and that's your first time. So you hear about this artifact at a cave, you go to the cave, Vasco's in there, and he's like,
Mining, picking a
"Hello,"
tent.
he's doing something, and then
Right.
you grab it, and then that way it makes sense that Vasco already knew you, and then that way it also explains how you get the frontier,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he was there with the frontier, and maybe and then Barrett, because he always gets taken by the pirates, so maybe he was the one flying the ship, landed there, got taken by pirates, but Vasco and the frontier stayed behind. So you're rescuing the frontier, Vasco, get the artifact, and you go back, and that way all the chips are settled.
Right. Small tangent.
All
Sorry,
right,
guys.
all right. Oh no, no, that's what I love about this show. We can go down these rabbit holes, and people can follow
Right?
them with us. And I bet you there's
That's right.
people on listening right now. They're like, "No, you guys totally should do it this way." Well, you guys, that's where you send in feedback to
That's
starfieldreport at
right.
gmail.com, and you can tell us how retarded we are, or how
That's right.
awesome we
You can
are,
tell me, why didn't
or
you think of this?
yeah,
You
why do
should
you
have
think of
done it
that?
this way.
Yeah.
Okay.
So sometimes great
Mhm.
minds think alike, and sometimes great minds think of better things than other people
That's
think
right.
of, right? So
Hey, I'm always down for a little bit of
yeah.
constructive criticism. That's the words.
Well, and
Words are hard this morning. I woke up late.
yeah, so did I. I mean, this episode though, there's not a lot of Terran Armada quest lines, so we're going to probably rabbit hole a little bit more because
Sure.
as we mentioned earlier, we're only going to talk about the first mission, which is extremely short. So this is just going to be a more
Yeah.
casual conversation about Starfield in general. And so, anyways, let's go ahead and wrap up the Terran Armada stuff here, and then we can just divulge into
Oh,
insanity.
I want
Okay.
to mention one thing
Oh,
real quick. Hold on.
okay.
I have a good buddy that lives in California,
Mhm.
and he sent me this.
Oh yeah, the
Ooh,
microphone.
look at,
I almost got you the pink one.
ooh. I wanted the pink one. You know what that would look like? Oh
Yep.
boy.
Well, mine's white, so at least ours will be a different color. Yeah, that
Yeah.
microphone it's usually about $75, but it was on sale 30% off, so it was just over $50. So I snagged it in the middle of the night, shipped it to him,
Right.
and he paid me back for it. But then he sent me a monitor.
I got a text in the middle of the night that says, "Hey, send me some money. I sent you a microphone." Okay. Works for
Yeah,
me.
that
I
might
wouldn't
have
have
been on
got
my
off my
watch
butt
list
and
for
changed
a
it.
while.
Well, you have a couple of audio video problems and you start looking at your setup and you decide, maybe it's time we take this to the next level and,
Yeah.
upgrade a
Yeah.
little bit, maybe be a little more professional. I want to do
Yep.
something with all of this back here too, but this is my hobby room.
Yeah.
So all of this stuff is never going to go away. But if I could find like a Japanese blind to sit behind my
Oh, that'd
chair
be
where
cool.
I could, yeah,
Yeah.
just something to cover all that mess up
Mhm.
because you guys don't need to look at that up every day.
Basically, you need the tailored spaces in real life. Have all of
Yes.
your walls of Starfield and put those behind
Yep.
you.
Yeah,
So
because that's a mess back there. But we'll get it.
yeah.
Nobody's complained so far, right?
Yep. Nobody's complained so far. Okay, back to the quest. All right, so sorry for the rambling. So now that you've left the lodge, the shackles are free. You can go and do whatever you want. If I don't think there's any quest marker that pops up to tell you where to go. You just have to know to go near a SSNN news broadcast tower. Now, I think
Right.
in New Atlantis, from the lodge, if you head back to the Mass District, and there's the UC Exchange, and there's Outlander, and then I think there's that cafe with the tables outside. I think the tower's somewhere right in that vicinity. There's
I
also
think
one
there is a thing that
downstairs,
pops up though, Jim.
or maybe like something to listen to a broadcast, maybe something like that.
Right. I think when you start Terran Armada, let's see, I've got a screenshot here of all of the checklists of how this starts out.
I don't think it tells you where to go though. I think it might say it.
I think it just says listen to the SSNN broadcast.
Yeah.
So if you don't know what that is, it may be a little bit confusing, but that's what it is. You want to go stand around one of these things.
Yeah.
Where's the picture?
There's also one down in the spaceport. I think as you go down the ramp from your ship and you start going up that ramp to your left, and I think it's somewhere in that vicinity. The one I went to, because I happen to know it's literally right next to the fast travel point. If you fast travel to the Neon City core, the Neon core, it's literally right there. And so that's the one. If I do a major quest or something big in the game happens, I always like to just fast travel there real quick because I'm going to be standing right next to it. And you'll end up seeing about 8 people gathered around, and you hear this broadcast. The news is telling you, "Oh, this is disturbing, but we have to play this for you." And you hear like voices screaming and some lady saying, "This is the Terran Armada, blah 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 blah," and then it says that they're looking for ships to go help with the search and rescue.
Yeah, join the search party orbiting Nirvana 1.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be the first quest marker you'll get. But yeah, before that, it'll just say, because you'll get the little thing up in the top of your screen that'll say attack of Terran Armada, right?
Yeah.
And then
Attack
if
of
you
the
check
Terran
your
Armada.
quest log, right, you go into your quest log, it'll say listen to the SSNN broadcast, and then that's where you'll go, like Kenny was saying, you go listen to the broadcast on any major planet, any major hub's going to have an SSNN um, kiosk somewhere for you to go
Yeah.
listen to.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I've been sick lately, and so I got a lot of congestion. Sorry, folks.
That's all right.
So you listen to the thing, and then that's when it'll pop up and say, "Go join them in Nirvana."
Mhm.
Oh, we're gonna go to Nirvana. Yay.
Nirvana. Does it
Sounds
smell like?
amazing.
Does it smell like Teen Spirit?
Mm, I think it does.
All right. So you go to Nirvana, and I think it's just one ship when you come out of when you
Yep.
travel there. Okay, one ship, and you talk to them, and then that ends this first quest.
And actually, the first quest is not you
Not even going there.
not even going there, because the second quest, which is the luxury cruise or something like
Yeah,
that.
it's aboard that ship.
And the very first check mark for that is use cruise mode to reach the search area. Oh, so yeah, you do go talk to the first ship, and they
Oh,
tell you want to join the party, and you say yes. They're like, yeah, we've looked in some asteroids, but we've not really looked close. So go check out those asteroids over there.
yeah, and this forces
So,
you to use Super Cruise at this point,
yep,
which is
and
technically
that's how they
starting the
introduce
second
cruise
quest.
to you. Yeah.
Which we'll deep dive that one on our next episode. But yeah, this is the game. Yeah, forcing you to do Super Cruise so you start to get familiar with the mechanics, and obviously you enter
Mhm.
Super Cruise, you start flying towards the marker, and because I don't think the marker will, when you look at your basic map, the marker won't be there. And I've
Yeah.
tested this in general, flying around Super Cruise. I'll go to Super Cruise and start flying my ship around manually, just warping around the system,
Mhm.
and I'll see something, and I can tell I'm pretty close to it because it starts getting closer and then starts coming alongside me a little bit. I'll pause. I'll look at the map. I'll see where I'm at in the solar system, and that thing is not there on the overall map. So Super
Right.
Cruise will show you things on the map that are not there, or in the system that are not on the map.
Yeah, that's the
And
only way you'll find them.
yeah, I mean, there's still stuff that'll pop up on the map. There's ship or hostile activity or sensor contact. So you still see that stuff sometimes. But I would say I don't know if it necessarily doubles stuff that you'll find, but it certainly there's only going to be things that you're going to see when you fly around that in Super Cruise. So I've been
Yeah.
trying to retrain my brain after 3 years of just fast traveling around the map. Go into
Right.
Super Cruise, and I like what Solior does, co-host of the Starfield Sandwich podcast. What he does is he'll travel to a like if he has a very specific planet he needs to go to, to land for a quest marker, he'll
Right.
if he can, if it's a system he's been to before, he'll fast travel to a nearby planet or another planet in
Right.
the solar system.
So
In
if
that
I need
solar
to go to
system,
Earth, I'll fast travel to Neptune
yep,
and then super
and
cruise
then
to
Super
Earth.
Cruise to it. So
And that gets you all of those extra little
yeah,
space POIs for all the experience and the
yeah.
goodness.
Yeah. So if you're not in a rush and you're just really trying to immerse into the role play of it, do that.
Mhm.
Because I might start doing that and then just set my autopilot, right? Just get up, walk around the ship, talk to people. Because I mean, especially with your primary crew members, the constellation members at least, if you're flying around, you can talk to them, and there might be more. There's periodically as you're playing the game, there's more dialogue options to continue the conversation.
Right.
Because eventually, once your rapport builds up with them from coming back and talk to them periodically, it'll trigger their personal side quests that they have that you can do,
Mhm.
and then so that's just kind of helps more from the role play standpoint. And if you're an autopilot, you might get interdicted and get sucked out of Super Cruise and have a situation to deal with. So, which
Yeah.
they need to add a enemies trying to board your ship. You got to do it.
That would be fun.
That would
would
be
be
so
fun.
much fun.
Yeah.
Because
If you're cruising
imagine,
along and you're back there talking to your boo back there, and all
Yeah.
of a sudden somebody starts boarding your ship.
Mhm.
And, oh crap! I better
Yeah.
gotta go handle this real quick.
Yeah.
That'd be neat
Yeah.
because nobody ever boards your ship. You're always the
Mhm.
aggressor in
Yeah.
all of this. You're always the one going on somebody else's
Yeah.
ship.
Well, another cool thing they could do is like, let's say it's some spacers that don't want to. I mean, spacers seems to be the most likely faction that would want to board your ship because they're not even all necessarily the same. Spacers is just a catch-all phrase for
Derogatory
anybody
term,
that's for any of
dirtbag,
these. Yeah, it's all these guys. Yeah,
right?
obviously, and
The
so
other
if
one that would want to do that is the bounty hunters. If you've got the wanted
hmm
trait, the
okay,
bounty hunters are always going to want to board your ship and take you alive because it's more money if you're alive. Who
yeah,
knows? You know?
yeah, that could be a dynamic there too, where sometimes the bounty hunters maybe will come after you to kill you. Although sometimes maybe it is just to capture your ship. And I think a good way to know if they're going to try to kill you or not is if you see them using EM weapons directly on your grav drive, then you're going to know they're going to try to board, and your engines. They're going to try to board me. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean that'd be a lot of fun to get into combat because flying your ship around now you got to get up at your captain's chair, and there are some of the mods that allow you to assign certain people into certain habs in the game. So like you could assign Barrett to be in a hab that's right next to where the docker is, right? So Barrett's always
Mhm.
immediately stern, getting into a combat situation, or
Well,
obviously,
they have those mods though. They've got mods where you can
yeah,
place like
that's
a
not,
floor
yeah,
mat down for them to be messing around with a computer or yeah, and that's
yeah,
what you're talking about, right? Yeah,
exactly.
okay.
That's what I'm talking about. I have the mod installed. I'm not currently using it yet, but I want to. Oh man, I've been spending a lot of time trying to perfect this ship. So but yeah, so so that kind of wraps up our Terran Armada talk in
Right.
general. Obviously, this is extremely short quest. Attack of the Terran Armada. Listen to broadcast. Flight of the system.
That's
Sorted.
it. That's
That's it.
pretty much it to start with. So
Yeah.
it's a short quest chain today
hmm
that we're talking about. It's pretty quick.
But we are going to continue having some Terran Armada free lanes adjacent conversation here. So specifically, I want to show you guys a mod stuff. So give me just a second here. Okay, so in Terra Armada specifically, it's unfortunate they did not give this to us for free in the free lanes, but in the Terra Armada content, there are the double decker habs, and there's 5 of them. I do have a video, so if you're tuned in the first time, I have a habs showroom playlist that shows all the habs in the game, all the default vanilla habs, and I specifically, of course, did the double deckers. So there's the 2x1 double decker F, which is where the staircase is going forward as you're going, like walking forward into your ship, it goes up. There's the A, which if you're walking aft in your ship, it goes up as you go aft. And then there's the 3x1 double decker, which has 2 staircases, which they come down and meet in the middle, which is cool because then between the 2 doorways up top, there's like a cross pathway, almost like a bridge, right? So, and then there's the 2 the double wides, double bunker or the double wide double deckers. And so
Right.
there's one that it just says 2x2x2, and then there's one that says 2x2x2B. I always forget off the top of my head, but one of them is like basically a workshop because it has a weapons bench upstairs, a space suit workbench downstairs, and an industrial workbench downstairs. The other one is like a living crew quarters because there's a galley downstairs, and on the other side of the staircase is a table with 8 chairs. So decent little kind of like a little mess hall vibe going on down
Mhm.
there. Upstairs of that, there's a research station, a pharmaceutical station, and a bed. And I think that's it. And thankfully, none of the useful stuff is anywhere on the walls because when you place a door or window, you lose stuff, right? So
Mhm.
thankfully, they were smart. They didn't put any. There's nothing critical where a door or window would potentially go. Now, if you like the double deckers, but you're like, man, those are Nova Galactic though, and I really wish they had another manufacturer, right? Now the other 4 manufacturers are kind of paired up. The Deimos and Strat Eklund stuff are almost always identical, just a different color palette. Deimos is usually like a brighter lit environment with the whites and the gray colors. Stroud Eklund is a little more dim, and it's more of a gray and orange. And
See,
then
that never made sense to me,
mhm.
right?
Yeah, that
Because traditionally, like Star Trek, explorers, not military,
mhm.
everything's bright and white and lit up and very, inviting.
Yeah,
But you watch any sci-fi show that's got a military spacecraft and it's dim and dark lit and with, kind of, well, just dim and dark. So it
yeah,
seems like they kind of got those
hmm
inverted in this game. I mean, it is what it is. It doesn't
yeah.
matter, not
Deimos
really.
is
It
the
just
most
seems a little backwards.
military minded of the manufacturers, and you would think they
Hmm.
would have a more dim environment. Which is
Right.
why even if I build a Deimos ship, the fact that the battle stations, the 2x2 battle stations with the Stroud and the Deimos are, you know, structurally they're the same. I'll put the Stroud one on just because so it's a little dimmer, or the control station
Right.
because
Yeah.
the 2x1, right? It's like it's a little dimmer. It's like whenever you see even in contemporary movies with Navy ships or specifically submarines, it's always more dim inside the command structure or command
Right.
area. Um,
As opposed to a cruise ship that's,
yeah,
a cruise
yeah,
a cruise ship and Carnival Cruises, it's all lit and everything's party style and lighted and you
exactly.
know,
Yeah, and then of
so
course
that's why
Teo
I
and
say it seems a little backwards. But yeah.
yeah, and then of course Teo and Hope Tech are also kind of paired up. Teo's the more brighter lit inside. Hope Tech's a little dimmer, darker. That one kind of makes sense because Hope Tech is kind of they advertise as a hodgepodge thing, so it almost seems like they'd probably have poor lighting in their ships because they're supposedly the cheaper. Yeah,
Right.
that's the one
The
sad thing
the
about.
economy line.
Yeah, it's like the economy line ship. I mean, all the Hope Tech interiors will actually really make sense for the brand, but Teo should have been completely different because they are there's all this stuff about Teo's the most glitzy or what's the word they use, glamour. I think they literally use the word glamorous. I'm like, the outsides are cool because they're all curved, and if you want curves on your ship you can get that vibe,
Mhm.
but the interior, you've got shit just strapped to the freaking walls like some cheap,
Right.
like a World War II cargo plane. It's like, what the
Right.
hell.
I don't
So
like the out exterior rounded halves because it looks very Lego blockish when you build a ship that way.
you I, for that reason, that exact reason, I didn't build with Teo until I got to my Cyberrunner character,
Mhm.
which we're doing all the faction quests with her. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to be exclusively Teo with her. I mean, as far as the cockpit, the habs, and structure in general, I'll use other
Mhm.
structure, bays, dockers, if I absolutely have to because of the design of a layout of a ship. But for the most part, yeah,
Sure.
cockpit and habs are strictly um, Teo, and I'm getting into a good groove of it. And so, in fact, let me just show this to you real quick. Here, I've got a couple of my Cyber Runners ships. I haven't done any ship build videos on them yet, or actually, I started her off as a Ronin, but I switched her to a Cyber Runner just for more role play with the background. The first ship you'll see, which is the bottom right corner on what you're probably seeing there. This is my Jalopy. I just like slapped crap together, like even mismatched colors. It was basically like she's finally, after growing up on Neon, she's able to take off. Because I went straight there once I could with the character. I'm pretending I had nothing to do with Constellation on the character, and she's just been a Neon street rat. And so I built this little Jalopy style ship. So that's pretty much what it is there. The next one, where the one with the moon setting in the background, I should have, or
Mhm.
the planet, I should say. I'm on a moon with the planet setting in the background. I should have did my blue frame that I use for all my ship builds when I took this picture. I didn't think about it, but you'll see this is where I'm really getting into the Teo style stuff. So I've got the
Yeah,
structure
I
on the
like that
side.
too.
It's got like a hovercraft look to it, where you've got the engines on the top, on the back, and obviously I've got the better, or I've got the rotated engine, so I can flip those Frontier engines, so they're not up
Mhm.
vertical, they're more horizontal. And this I think has one, yeah. I've got four habs on this one technically. One, two. Let's see. Well, the bay's in the very back, but these are both Class A ships. The next ship is I wanted to build like a submarine, right? And so I
Yeah.
built this. Uh, Single line ship.
Yep.
So it's only one wide. I've got the Class B Stroud Eklund on the back, and I actually have 4 of those all in a line. They're all right in front of
Oh, I see
each
it. One,
other.
two, three. Yeah, yeah.
hmm
One,
And
two,
obviously,
three.
I had to just do that little drop glitch to get them to set into place. And so you'll see I've got the Nova Galactic Bay, the one that's on the frontier, and I've got that flipped around backwards. And I like that bay because it has the 2 hard points on the bottom, and I put the Vanguard missiles right there on the bottom because those are nice low profile, and you can only have 2 of those on your ship anyway, so those work really well. It's kind of like your torpedo launcher thing.
Yeah.
And then,
Okay, so the bay drops down backwards,
so I've got
facing
the
towards the engine.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then, specifically, I don't know if the other picture will show. Let me see. It might be a rear shot as well. Yeah. Oh, this is our outpost. I found this. It's a stable environment planet. It's a little kind of arid. The foliage isn't too dense, but it's a pretty beautiful planet. And I've got this landing post right up to a cliff. Like if you were to pan the camera to the left and look to the left of the the tower as well as the landing pad, it's like a vertical cliff going straight up. But
Gotcha.
yeah.
It
So
looks like you're overlooking a very foggy ocean
yeah,
scene
like
with
this
the
fog will settle down into that valley, and it
yeah,
looks beautiful. When the fog's not there, it's like kind of like a sparse tree desert thing stretching as far as the eye can see.
yeah. Yeah, this
But
photo definitely makes it look like you're sitting on the edge
mhm,
of the ocean there.
yeah,
That's a good looking photo. I like that.
but yeah. So this ship is only the habs are only 2 levels, and you can see I've got 3, well, technically 4 habs up top, because there's 3 2x1s, and then right below the docker there's just 2 1x1 habs stacked right on top of each other. And then of course you head into the cockpit, and then so I think there's on the front is the way the curves on the Teo cockpit are. There's that structure piece that has like 2 little satellite dishes right in the front of it. Okay,
Mhm.
and that thing comes and it extends out wide. And man, unfortunately, these pictures, uh, the outpost picture, you can see it a little bit better, but there's the side of that sensory structure thing has that kind of curve to it, to where if you have the other flat structure pieces that just mount to the side of a hab, then it creates this kind of curved side to your ship all the way down. So those I have
That's
lined
what
up for that. hmm
yep, I've used those also, and I slide them in behind my structural pieces, and
Yeah.
those I think I'm using the cross heavy industry ones, and they have a sheen that you can put on them, just
Okay.
like the Falkland, some of the Falkland pieces where they got a chromy kind of a chrome look.
Yep.
Those things also, when you colorize them, they've got a chrome look, so
Okay.
it really allows you to like put shiny on part of your ship and not so much on the other part of your ship.
Yeah. On my hovercraft, in fact, you can see that same thing
Mm,
right there on the very front, right below the cockpit, and then off to the side, there's those side structure pieces that have that rounded side, where then you can
mm.
start putting those panels along the side of it, alongside your habs or whatever.
Is
Now,
that a front?
what
Is there a front and a back for those little claddings?
are the cowlings on the side there?
Yeah,
I don't know if that can be flipped backwards or not. I don't think so.
it
It might
looks
be
like
able
there's
to.
a front to it that kind of slopes, in towards the module.
Yeah,
I
it
can't tell.
it
I have
slopes.
to.
Well, the way to think of it is that it slopes out as it goes back. So then that way you can put those Teo panels on the
Yeah,
side of a
kind of.
ship and have that long, streamlined curve to the side of a ship. Now on
Yeah,
the
I gotta find the
submarine
ones that are.
up front, on the very bottom, that's where I put that engine brake. So you've got the
Mhm,
cockpit, the sensors, and the engine brake. And when you're looking at the front, they all kind of line up with a nice curve. So it is pretty pleasing to the eye.
mhm.
And then So, oh, and a fun thing I did, and I did it after I took the screenshot, but if you have the, what is it called? So when you look at the ship, my submarine here, right? And when you look at the front where you can see the guns, in fact, I wonder if on this next, no, not even on this one, I did it yet. Okay, so there's the weapon mount that's sideways, where you can have, and it's 45 degree, right? You have two weapons. Okay, there's that Deimos side piece that has a single weapon point in the middle, and it doesn't stick out too far from the ship, and it's got a slight taper to it. If you have the better ship part snaps, those pieces of vanilla just have a single snap point right on the other side of where the equipment point is to then stick to the side of your ship. If you have the better ship part snaps mod, it adds a snap point to the ends of it. Meaning, if you put let's say, so you have, if you have another one of those edge pieces, like, so you take the same one, you flip it backwards, so when you're looking top down, it kind of comes, it's like this, it kind of comes down out slightly and then back in. So you attach the one towards the rear and you flip it, so as it comes forward, it comes out, it comes out just a little bit. You put the horizontal weapon point on the side of the ship with a gun here and a gun here. So you've got the thing sticking out here, you've got the mount here. Now you take the other one here, you copy it, pull it out, reverse it, so now the curve comes in this way. Put a third weapon right there onto that, and then you snap it. You do the snap glitch, and it'll anchor to the structure right behind it.
Okay.
And then so you have literally three guns, one up, and then one in the middle.
Yeah. You had one here, and one here.
And then so I have that on both sides of the ship. On that, those pictures are slightly outdated because I added that feature, and it looks awesome when you have these 6 Vanguard obliterators right on the side of the ship, right there.
Right. That's what I was trying to figure out. I was playing with a ship. Oh, it was the new. I got a new mod called ASC Deimos and ASC Deimos ships, and one of the ships in there is called the Griffin, and it's got a bunch of cubbies that's got all the weapons kind of tucked into a little cubby where you can't see it from the side profile, but straight on you can see these little cubbies that has all these weapons stuffed in them.
Okay.
And I was trying to figure out how to get the obliterators triples on each side, and you've just kind of given me the how to do that. So
Nice.
That's going to be cool to go play with that. Because I could get 4 mounted, but then I got 2 more I got to like stash somewhere.
Yeah.
But what you're saying, I can do all 3 sticking off the side.
You would
That'll be
just
pretty
have to have the ability to. You'd have to have 2 full units of length because you'd have to anchor the front structure point with those other 2. You'd have to anchor it to the same type of piece of structure right behind it. So
I got you.
It'd be a deep cavity in your ship, but you could cover it up with stuff. Well, what you do then, that Hope Tech, the Hope Tech engine brake, it's that thing that's got like the 2 cylinders in the back, and then it tapers down, and it comes forward, and it's that perfect box with the 4 holes. That's so skinny. I bet you if you attached it to the back of that cavity, that thing would come forward. And in fact, let me show you. Okay, so with this, this is my Terran Armada battleship. And if you look at the front, you can see what I'm talking about. You'll see I've got 2 of the horizontal weapon mounts on the inside of the Nova Galactic Howling. So I've got 4 of the energy weapons right there, and then I've got that Hope Tech piece directly behind it. Now in this case, it doesn't protrude up in between them, but I imagine with smaller weapons, if they're not big bulky Class A ones, if they're the smaller ones like those Vanguard obliterators, they would probably fit right around that thing perfectly. So I bet you could pull something off like that. Okay, so lots of rabbit trailing, lots of fun just rambling about the game. But here's the kicker. Here's the thing we're both excited. Now, Jax has been telling me about the Stroud Premium Edition mod for a while, and I don't know why it didn't click for me. I think I only remembered it as having staircases and ladders, but then I heard there were bugs, or I read that somewhere, so I didn't bother with it. And I got so used to building without needing staircases and just making sure my ladders were well placed and stuff. But anyways, this SPE mod Stroud Premium Edition by Vince134. Hi Vince. I have to reach out to him, get him on the podcast. Has a ton of mods. So just a quick little intro of it here. Stroud Premium Edition is a mod that provides around 150 new habs to enhance your experience on board your ship. Just a quick side note, there's a free version. Obviously, anything free is not achievement friendly, but there's an achievement friendly version that costs 200 credits. So is it worth $2? Yes, definitely worth $2. All modules are designed to be as functional and comfortable as possible. You'll find functional furniture that allows you to enjoy RP gameplay, as well as features that aren't included in the basic modules. You can purchase SPE modules from any ship technician selling Stroud modules, or directly in the SPE showroom in New Atlantis. I haven't been to that showroom yet. I'm gonna have to go check it out. But I've got the mod that at my outpost with shipbuilder, my shipbuilder at my outpost. Every hab is there, so I just that's what I do. And achievement friendly. Okay, there. Blah blah blah. On PlayStation 5 players, it's currently unavailable. So thankfully, the fact that he updated that it's not available shows he's probably working on it. So if you're a PlayStation player, stay tuned. All right, let me go back to picture one. So this is just a sampling here. You'll see there's
This mod, sorry,
oh,
this mod came out on October 25th of 2024. So I've been using it about that long,
yeah.
but it was updated May 8th, 2026. So
Oh,
to
and that's
include the update for the free lane stuff. That's why I haven't seen all of the things that you're talking about here, the splitters and the stairs. They weren't on it for the version I had.
Okay.
So that's all new stuff for me. I'm gonna have to go and update it
Yeah.
and start playing with some of the other additional stuff that's on there.
I mean, there had been another mod that I was using, but I was having some bug issues with it, and I don't know if it was that mod or other things going on. I can't remember that mod author's name, but it was basically the staggered stairs, the splitter, and what was and then like a little U-turn staircase, and but which this mod includes all that and a gazillion other things. So yeah. So, okay. So let's look. I'm going to zoom in real quick on the splitters. As you can see, when you put it down, you can just tap Y to flip it and rotate it. It basically takes, two and narrows it down to one, or vice versa. One widens it out into two. Now, as far as your forward and backward is concerned, that's where it's critical. Where if you want your cockpit centered on your ship, but you
Mhm.
want an even number width of your ship, right? So
Right.
for example, there's the four big Nova Galactic engines, and if you want or not supernova engines, you want all four of those straight across the back of your ship. Perfect. Put those four back there. Have your ship be an even number wide, but then at some point on your ship, you put this merger splitter, and it centers your cockpit on your ship.
Or you could do it backwards from that, right? You could
Mhm.
have 3 mods wide, and then on the outermost module, outermost hab, put a splitter, and the other outermost hab put a splitter, and that would give you 4 attachment points across the back. So then you could put 4 engines across there with a 3 wide ship.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. You could do that. And then, so he's also got the stairs on the left here, and then the ramps. I haven't looked at the ramps. I'll have to check those out. But those seem to be a bit steep, and it's pretty straightforward. You walk in, you go up a flight of stairs.
Yeah.
Oh, he also has the 1x2. So instead of a 2x1, it's a 1x2. So it's only one long, but it's 2 wide, and it's just a companionway with some flowers in it. So it's pretty sparsely
Yep.
decorated, but that's pretty useful for. It'd be nice to have all the habs be that way. And then, of course, he's got all the different flights of stairs, which do like a spiral, and you can rotate them. And now the way those work is like you walk into it going one direction, and then you walk up, you turn, and you go out of it at the top the way you went into it, right? Or the opposite the way like that. So, and there's no
So you
part.
pass
No,
through from the
what's
first
that?
stair in. Let's say the stairway in is aft into the stairwell. and you go up, and then exit is to the 4 of the
Yeah.
stairwell
Yeah.
at the upper level. I got you. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have not used these yet.
Yeah. Now I've not tried using the elevators, but I'm assuming, depending on if, let's say you have all the way up to the 5 elevator, you just, I bet you when you select it, it probably will pop up. I would like to think it just pops up with the basic menu, spawn at level 2, spawn at level 3, right? So probably not an elevator you physically walk into. I don't know. I'll have to play around with it.
The ones I've seen actually are, I'll bet it does have a little, like a half of a 1x1 centered in the ones I've seen it's a tube in the middle of a 1x1 area. So there's just enough room to walk around the outside of it. And then you've got an elevator door. You walk in and you push the button, and there may be video. You may have the option of either having it just a cut scene to go from level 1 to level 3, or you may be able to flip a switch in the settings and go from 1, and it shows you rise up, rise up. You know what I mean?
I'm getting some PTSD from Mass Effect.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you ever play Mass Effect 1?
I did, but it was when it came out, so it's been quite a few years back.
There was an elevator in the ship that you had to take to go from a certain level to another level, because you couldn't, you literally at times would have to go up and down the elevator depending on what you're doing in your ship, going to the command because you needed to go to the star map to fly somewhere, but then you needed to talk to an NPC and he's downstairs. That elevator was so slow. Oh my God. And they literally, in the beginning of the second game, they destroy, spoiler alert for a 15-year-old game, but they destroy the first Normandy, and then they build a Normandy 2, which is basically the same thing, and the layout's very similar, except they have stairs that you can just run up and down and no more elevator, because that elevator drove everybody freaking nuts. So yeah, let's see here.
I've seen people build that ship in Starfield. That's a good looking. I really like this.
I tried. It's tough. You have to have some definite mod pieces, because the way the wings kind of slope down, it'd be very tricky to pull off. So I'm going to look at a couple little lists of some of the highlights here. Now, this is just a sampling of what this Stroud Premium Edition mod has. I'm going to probably do a Hab showroom video now that I've done all the vanilla Habs in my Hab showroom playlist. I'm going to probably start doing the mod showroom, Hab showrooms, but parentheses mod. So utility mod. So he's got the staircases, the dividers or the splitters, where it goes from 2 to 1 and vice versa. He's got the 4 ramps. He's got the elevators and these cross passage modules. Now, I don't have any pictures of them, unfortunately, here, but it's kind of like you got the Nova Galactic one, right? And it goes sideways. Then there's the Hope Tech one that goes sideways, and there's a Hope Tech one that goes forward and back, right? So they're kind of like that. There's a couple that are just basic tunnels. You can just flip them. Now, one of them, when you're inside of it, as I was walking down the ship, I chose it because the color was darker on top. And it was nighttime when I was walking through my ship. And so I need to test this, but I think that's a window all the way up and around you, because as I was walking forward, I realized it's like when you see a TV show or movie where you're inside the bowels of a ship and there's like a catwalk and you're able to look down and to the right, and there's just gaps of space. That's what it was like. And so I walked in and I looked to the left, and there's a Hab right there. It's a 1x1 Hab. It's a bedroom. And it's just right there. I can see it, and I can see the struts and the assembly. It looked awesome, but then it hit me. I mean, that module Hab is down in the bowels of the ship, but I'm wondering if that's glass to where, or can I potentially just jump over the railing, or is it just open space, or is it glass? Because let's say you have that on the top of your ship, and you have this glass curved tunnel that allows you to look up at the stars as you're walking.
Right.
I'll double check that. There's an intersection one of that exact same thing. But it's an intersection, which is cool because sometimes that one, there's no doors in those, because if you put a 1x1 companionway to be an intersection between other Habs, it's kind of annoying because there's doors. But these eliminate doors, so now you just drop that in the middle, and now you don't have any doors, right? And so that way you can
Right.
navigate between habs without. Although there is a mod I think that forces all doors to be open as the default. I probably should just put that mod on my game.
With the
Yeah.
place doors yourself mod, you can have aft doors,
hmm
forward doors, port doors, starboard doors, or just passageway. So it removes the door completely and it's just an open hole.
Yeah, I've been tempted with this recent ship I've been building. It's so much fun, but I might cave and get PDY mod
Yeah.
because
Well, once you
yeah.
start, I found that it's a steep learning curve when you first start using it because
Mhm.
you have to remember what you're doing, where you want everything, where you want your doors. And for you, Kenny, you've got such a great memory as to where everything is placed in every mod because of
Mhm.
your showroom videos, your hab videos. So you know there's a bed on that side. I don't want a door on that side. I don't want to stare in this one because that's where the table is. So you would know exactly which halves to put, which doors to put where.
Mhm.
And like for me, what I do is the captain's quarters always has a door,
Yep.
right? So it's a
Yep.
private area. The dormitory always has a door. But like the med bay is an open area. The engineering room is an open area. The
Okay.
living space, right, is always an open area. So I just put the passageway. It's just an opening. So there's no way to
Mhm.
it's what that does is it opens the ship up and it makes it feel more inviting. It doesn't
Yeah.
feel like you're segregated into some kind of prison ship or something.
Yeah. And basically, yeah. In any hab that has a bed, I would put a door on. But other than that, I would just have
Right.
no door. I mean, so with place doors yourself, what you're saying is not only do you decide where the door is going to be on the ship, but you also decide if there's going to be a physical door you can open and close, or just
And you
nothing.
can decide if the door opens to the inside or to the outside, to the front
Okay.
or to the
Okay.
back. So there's an
Okay.
aft door and a forward door. There's a port door and a starboard door.
Okay. Okay.
And
That's
then there's
per
the hole, which just removes the door entirely.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I might cave and get that mod for this ship because it's a massive ship. It's like 140 meters. I had it up to
The
156, but
the only caveat
I
is
had to
once you
shrink it.
start using it, you gotta keep using it. And anytime you
Yeah.
buy a ship, modify a ship, change a ship, if it wasn't using the place doors yourself and then you modify it,
Mhm.
all your doors are gone. So
Yeah.
then you need to go through and add the doors yourself. So
And that's as
there's that
simple
caveat.
as changing a
The
color on
color.
it. Yeah,
Mm,
you
yeah,
change the color on one on your cockpit. You realize you have the
right.
red, and you needed black instead of red. You change the color, all of your doors are
Yeah,
gone. Which, of course, the
yeah.
fix or the way to handle that is you always have the mod disabled unless you're going to be building the ship, right?
Nope, I
No.
tested that. That don't work because then,
Oh.
well, it's a catch 22 because I have the Avant-Garde, which is a total custom ship. It's got custom doors everywhere on it so that I
Yeah.
have the layout exactly like I want it.
Okay.
And then I bought a ship, the Griffin that I was talking about earlier.
Okay.
So I wanted to change the color on the Griffin, right?
Okay.
And
Yeah.
so I dis I disengaged the PDY mod.
Okay.
And then I changed the color on the ship and I walked around the ship. That's pretty cool. And I went back to my Avant-Garde ship with the mod turned off. There's no doors no more on my Avant-Garde ship.
Oh. Now, when you turn the
So
mod back
it's
on, did it put them back where they're supposed to be?
I think I ended up turning it on and going back a save and just
Okay.
deciding that I'm just going to 100% use PDY, and that's just the way it goes.
So basically,
I had to go and put all the custom
wow.
doors into the
Okay.
brand new ship I bought,
Yeah.
which,
Yeah.
meh, the only problem I've ever had with that is buying a ship that you don't know the layout,
hmm
and then you're trying to figure out, like the Falkland ship. What is the one that's got the circular habs? It's not the Swift, it's the other one, the Keitel.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not familiar
Anyway,
with that one.
there's one, and it's got these circular habs instead of
Okay.
having corners to it. It's like a 45-degree walkway through there, and I couldn't figure out how they had the layout. and I never got the ship where it had all the doors, so I could walk through the ship and figure out when I put the PD-wide place doors yourself, turned it back on, where do I put the doors for this ship? So I've just never used that ship.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to go in a vanilla game or something, buy it and see what it looks like.
Yeah.
See if it's something that I'm interested in, because it's a pretty cool looking ship. But
Yeah. So
sorry to
so
go.
if you're using PDY, now typically I don't. Once I finish a ship, I'm usually pretty comfortable with it.
Mhm.
There's very very seldom would I need to um, change a ship once I'm done with it. I might tweak a little bit on the cosmetics, but I'm usually pretty locked in. So if you're a player that likes to constantly change your ship, if it's a big ship, you might not want to use PDY because you're locked in.
Well, if you've got it and you're building and you use it, it's once you set the doors, the doors are actually like an equipment plate when you use this mod, and you snap the little equipment plate where you want the door.
Okay.
So once they're placed, they're there. But that's why if you disengage the mod, it takes all your little door equipment plates off, and now you have no
Oh,
doors no more,
but then why,
right?
if you change like the color of something randomly on the ship, does it suddenly just remove all those plates off the ship? Is that what happens? And as
No,
far as why they don't
because
work anymore?
you're using a you're starting with a vanilla ship
Hmm.
that has the doors in the vanilla locations.
Okay.
And then if you change it, the scripting for PDY kicks in, but you've not put any of the door plates anywhere in the ship. So it says, "Oh,
Oh,
you don't want any doors."
so okay. So let's say you build a custom ship. You have
Mhm,
your PDY doors already placed everywhere.
mhm,
You can change stuff about the ship. Like you fly the ship around for 2 weeks. You're like,
mhm,
oh, I need to add this piece of structure. I want to change
mhm.
this weapon. You go into back to the mod shipbuilder. You can change it, and it's not going to screw up your ship.
Right.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
that's
But
that's why I've been putting off that
right.
mod.
But then you go and you buy a claymore or you requisition a claymore from the ecliptic and you take it back to your base and you decide that you don't like the guns on it and you change the guns. You've got no doors in the ship now,
Okay,
in the claymore ship.
but
So you
I
need to go
always
through
build
and
my
break
ships
that
from the
whole ship.
ground up, so that wouldn't be a
Right.
problem for me.
Sure. Yeah. Once you're using it, it's no problem. It's
Okay,
only if you're doing a pre-assembled ship and then you change something on that pre-assembled ship with PDY in your load order, all of
gets
the
rid of your
doors will
doors.
disappear in that
Okay.
pre-assembled ship. Yeah.
Now, does it
And then
also
if you turn
factor
it off,
doors on the top and the bottom for your ladders, or just the side doors?
you can do side doors and then you can flip the door to be port starboard, flip the door to be aft and fore, and flip the door to be a ladder well. And it's a 2, 3, 4, 5 ladder well ladder. So
Okay.
your lowest uh, ladder hole is going to be where you decide how many levels you are. Each level above that, you'll just put a ladder hole
Okay.
so you don't run into a ceiling when you're trying to go up,
Okay. Okay.
right? You have
I
like
wonder if
your
that mod would
first
fix
level.
the Teo brig or armory that has that glitch where it's the Teo mid. So it's the one that's totally like a block. It
Mhm.
doesn't have the curve on bottom or top.
Right, right.
If you're inside that and you walk towards I think it's the front ladder, if you have, a ladder going up to a have above, you look up and you can see it's solid material.
Yeah.
You can, I think if you jump, you're going to bonk your head. The ladder is still there. You can grab the ladder and climb up the ladder and walk, and you just glitch right through it, clip right through
Yeah.
it. If you're in the top and you look down, it's a hole. You don't see the plate from looking down, so you think you can
Mhm.
drop down into it, but you just go you start bouncing on it's like a
Right.
bouncy material. But again, if you grab the ladder, you can walk down. So
I
consequently,
gotcha.
because of that, I always have to use one of the other, like depending on the layout of the ship, I'll use like the bottom B or the bottom or the top B where it's
Mhm.
curved, but it has the doors on the sides because that's where well, not doors, but snap points on the side. So because a lot
Mhm.
of times I put stuff on the side of the ship. But that mod might fix that, I'm thinking.
It might.
Yeah.
Definitely might. I've not experimented with that.
Yeah. And the other issue that I sometimes will have, in general, the scripting for ladders in the game is indoors, is that it always, if you're in a hab, it's going to try to make the shortest possible path to the cockpit with all the ladders and doors. But sometimes it won't. Like, so I put these two habs, I put the brig down below. Like, the one ladder I like to have in my ships, if possible, now that we have stairs, is going down into the Teo or Hopetech armories, because it's like a brig, and I don't want a ladder is a perfect way to contain a escaped prisoner. Shut the hatch, he's stuck. But I put two. I had a workshop up top, and I put the armory right below it. But then it put the ladder in the back of the hab, going up, and I wanted it up in the front, not in the back, because then you're walking all the way through the workshop. So then I had to stagger it to where it was coming up out of the other hab that was just just in front of the workshop. So it's just minor inconvenience there. But with PDY, I can put the ladders where I need to. That'll be pretty sweet.
Yep. I think once you start using it and get accustomed to it, it's second nature for me now. At this point, I know as I'm building, I get to choose where I want the doors.
Yeah. Okay. So PDY, definitely going to download it and give it a go. Let's go ahead and look at some of these other things. I'm not going to read these word for word, but just going to kind of do a glimpse overview. So similar to the Graphs Habs mods, which is all the 1x1, mess hall, crew quarters, captain's quarters, ready room. He's got his versions of a lot of the 1x1s. And he has them in two categories when you're in the shipbuilder. One is kind of the general ones, like the companionway, the all-in-one, the bathrooms, gym, brig, etc. The second section has where you have the named rooms, which are decorated for specific people. So all the Constellation members plus Cora, and then one that's called Ship's Doctor. So those are pretty basic, and it seems that you can't have windows or doors except for the one side, which means you can't have a window on their rooms, because I didn't try the sides, but I did try putting. Well, you wouldn't want a window on the other side because the bed's always straight up opposite the door, and then you can rotate the hab, so that way the door is either coming in from the left, right, front, back, right. So that way,
gotcha. Okay,
awesome. And yeah, you're gonna love those habs for your Constellation members, assuming you have them on your ship, because they're decorated with just a nice touch of what represents the player. Like Barrett has a few plants in there because he's a plant biologist. Sarah has like some kind of antique lamp and antique looking desk. Kind of seems like it'd be her style. Cora, of course, has like a soccer ball and some posters and stuff. Let's see. Then we got some 2x1s here. He's got the captain's quarters. The fore and aft basically flips it, because it has like a legit huge bathroom on one end of it, and it flips it. So fore and aft. Infirmary. Some of these I haven't used, but again, I'm definitely going to be doing a walkthrough of all of them. Oh, the cargo hall is awesome. It's a 2x1 cargo hall, because I've always liked the idea of 2x1 cargo hall. Oh, and the companionway, the 2x1 and the 1x2, love that. Some of these I'm gonna have to. I don't know what they look like inside. I'm looking forward to doing a hab showroom specifically for that one. All right, so let's go.
He's got cargo halls on here also that have glass ceilings.
Oh.
So there's like, no, not cargo. I'm sorry, mess hall. The mess halls with glass ceilings.
Oh,
so you've got mess hall A with glass ceiling, mess hall B with glass ceiling.
Are those like the large, like 2x3, 3x2 ones?
Yes, 2x2s.
I haven't even played around with any of those yet.
Yeah, I use those on the Avant-Garde. I use a 2x2 mess hall, and then I have the sleeping quarters on one side of the end of it, and the captain's quarters on the other side of the end of it.
Okay.
So it's that creates a whole deck of that's the living area deck, because it's got a kitchen and a refrigerator and a hydroponics area.
Oh, well, those are. I think those are called the all-in-one bursts, because I have one of each of those on my ship.
There's nowhere to sleep on them on the 2x2s.
Yeah, which is So maybe it's not called the all-in-one berth, or maybe it's the living quarters. I can't remember, but there's an A and a B. Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
there's the one with the hydroponics, the little room, and
Mm-hmm.
that one has a fireplace where there's a panel that slides up and you can turn the
Mm-hmm.
fireplace on. Yeah, so I've got one of those. I've got one of each of those on my ship now. It's pretty sweet. Um, let's look at real quick. So this picture here showing the splitter kind of gives you an idea what it looks like on the inside. So I'm walking in and looking 45 degrees to the right. If you keep walking and turn to the right, you're just going to walk into another door going, like a U-turn basically.
Mm-hmm. And then
Let's
in the
see.
middle on the other side, there's a door in the center. So it
Yep.
takes it from 2 wide to a single wide.
Yep.
That's your splitter. That's
Yep.
pretty cool.
And then of course there are the ladder points, so if you have a ladder coming up into it and whatnot. Next up, we've got the single stairway. That's just kind of showing you. Yep, if you go, up, back, left, right, it's pretty straightforward. It's a stairway. Except there's this like
Yeah.
greasy oil spill under it. I'm like, somebody trip and fall and spill their coffee or something.
Right. That's the coffee running down the backside of the
Yeah.
staircase.
Now
Hey,
there
put the
is
inertial dampeners back on. You're spilling my coffee.
now there is a bit of a bug I discovered. So the stairway bug, and what this is in one of the double deckers, and if you attach a hab anywhere to a double decker, it will attempt to put a door there. The double deckers are coded that if a hab is next to it, it makes a door. Period. I have yet to find a combination where I'll have a hab adjacent, either side, front, or back of a double decker, and the door isn't there. So if you have a 2x1 side by side lined up, you're going to have 2 doors going into that 2x1. Which in some cases it's nice to have 2 doors going into the same hab. But what you can do is you can also stagger the habs, right? So you have the door on the front of the double decker goes into one hab, and then the door on the back goes back. But in this case, what you'll see here, this is the stairwell that does the U-turn going up. Okay, and so let me try to explain this for you. So on the front of this double decker, if you're looking forward towards your cockpit, which is way in front of the ship, the left door I had be a tunnel. Okay, just the straightforward tunnel. So from your perspective, is this left? So I had a tunnel here. I had the splitter here, and then it goes forward into a hab here to go up into my Kon-Tiki cockpit. Okay, that's the bird's eye view of it. So I wanted to go in the tunnel here, over, and then into the stairwell here. You turn up into a hab.
Mm-hmm.
However, when I had that stairwell hab attached, adjacent, what it did is if you zoom in, you can see how there's no door on the other side where there should be a door.
Mm-hmm.
Because the double decker hab tried to force a door on the back, and it created this weird 2 doorway thing. It's so
Right.
yeah. So I unfortunately had to rework the design of the ship because of that. I don't know if I guess they could patch it, but they would have to patch. If they patch that, they would have to edit the programming on the double deckers to not try to put a door if you have a hab that or PDY might. PDY patch for Terran Armada. Okay. So if you're running this mod, but then you also have PDY, yeah, actually that would solve it. If you have PDY, it's going to disable doors, period.
All the doors will be gone, and then you put them where you want.
That's useful because, so I have, let's see, in my, on my crew level of the new ship I'm building, I have 2 all-in-one berth 2x1s end to end, and I've got 2 doors coming this way, and I actually wanted the door going in between the habs too, this way, right?
Yeah.
And I have the doors, I have doors and windows all around, so then that way there's no, which removes the galley and the table specifically from those habs, because that they're adjacent to the double decker crew, like the one where there's the table and the mess hall on that double decker. That's the way I set it up. So there's tables, bathrooms, and beds in their habs. That's it. So these are basically they look like a little dorm because of that. So then you can leave those, go into the crew hall, and you have dinner with your crew, basically.
It's a 1x2x1. Yeah, the crew dormitory. for
Yeah,
the
I
two
did
by
see
one.
that, but I didn't install that on the ship. I
It's
might.
got 2, 4, 6, 8, a bathroom, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. It's got like 20, 22 cots. They're like
Holy cow.
submarine style cots. I mean, they're
Are
just
they
like
3
stacked
tall
people.
or just 2?
No, they're too tall,
Okay.
but for
But
every
they're
one
just
by one
everywhere.
section, yes, for every as soon as you walk in, the first one by one section has 2 sets of bunk beds on the left side and 2 sets of bunks on the right side.
Okay, so that's 16 beds right there.
So yeah, and then
2,
there's
4, or no,
2
2,
sets of
4,
bunks on the
6,
back
8,
wall. That's 8
10,
there.
12.
So then you go to the next little area and there's a bathroom, right? And then the next area there's 4, is it 4 more or 2 more maybe?
Okay.
Maybe it's just 2 more. 2
And
more
then,
bunks,
okay.
4 bunks on the back wall.
Okay.
And then you go around a corner that's got some lockers stood up there to make a wall, like a
Okay.
wall, a hallway. You
Okay.
go around the corner, you turn, and there's 4 more beds on the opposite wall of where the bathroom is. And there's 2 more beds at the end
Okay.
of that little thing. So it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. I think
Wow.
it's like 20 beds. So yeah, you
Yeah.
just you stack the crew in there like sardines, and then you get the 2 by 1 captain's quarters. That's this super palatial, spacious area, and you're
Yeah.
like, this
Yeah,
is where I sleep.
he's got a 1 by 1 captain's quarters. I haven't looked at that one yet, but I mean, if I was doing like a military ship, yeah, I'd probably just do that. Just throw one of those in there. You're the crew. Suck it up. Embrace the
That's
suck.
exactly what I've done. I mean,
Um,
I all you're doing is sleeping in there, right?
yeah.
Well, supposedly.
Yeah, but what if somebody snores? But
Well,
that's why
sorry, I'm
I'm
the
probably just
captain.
gonna
I don't have to worry about it.
that's why I'm probably just gonna stick with the 2 by 1, just the vanilla ones, because
Yeah.
4 beds, that's enough to be, you're not too crowded. You got a little bit of privacy, a little more privacy that way. And
Yeah,
and
I
so
hand out
yeah,
PPE earplugs when you come on the ship, and there you go. There's just a box of them right there in the dormitory
yeah,
for everybody.
true. Yeah, so yeah, I've got like 20 something beds on my ship. I've got 16 for like the basic crew on the crew deck, and then the upper level where the officers, my constellation members, right? So even though there's a mod that increases your ship crew limit substantially. I think you can actually just pick the number. Like
There's one that's got equipment plates that you can just throw an equipment plate, and it'll either add 2, 4, or 6, or
Mhm.
take away 2. So if you had it, yeah, I don't know why you would ever want to take them
Yeah,
away.
just
What would
don't
be the
assign
point?
that many people to the crew.
Exactly. Just
If
don't
you
put that many people
if
on
you
your ship. It's
have a
pretty
massive
simple.
ship, and you have a control station that potentially allows you, and your cockpit allows you to hit the vanilla max of 8, but you only want one other person on the ship, just put one other person on the ship. But
Right.
no, no.
Yeah, I don't know why there's a minus. I
Yeah,
found it as soon as I told you, I got the same look in my face that you just got when I told you about it. It's like, why?
yeah,
Why would you ever want that? But it
yeah.
does the equipment plates, you could stack a few of them on there and stick them underneath the cowling so you can go from, potentially 4 people on a ship to 12.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if I might test it just to see what happens, but um, I might just pretend the crew's there, even though I just never see them. But like a bunch of those like basic no named guys, right? Those would be all the crew members I have on the ship. But my
Yeah,
concern would
that might
be
be.
they would be wandering around and blocking my
See, that's the
path.
thing. If you have that other mod that you were talking about, that you could put assignments,
Yeah.
assigned seating, assigned placements,
Hmm.
and you could put, your engine specialist in that seat in the control room, and you could put your avionics specialist in that seat in the control room. So you could
Yeah.
have like 4 people sitting there, which would be kind of cool. I mean, after a while, it kind of seems like you're running a slave ship. You've got to chain to a
Yeah.
seat all the time,
Yeah.
but still,
Well, or like
you
assign
are
them
wanting
to
to
a
do it
bed. So
right. I think there's one where actually you can assign a bed, so you can have a daytime location for a person
okay.
and then a sleep location. So they've got like a 16-hour, 8-hour cycle where they'll be in one
Oh,
place for 16 and then in the bed for 8.
that'd be
So you
awesome.
can actually have shifts.
Because on my
All of this stuff, folks, that I'm talking about right now, though, is pre-Terran Armada. So just
true,
remember,
yeah,
a lot of this stuff may not either be available or be updated, but people
yeah,
have thought about all this stuff, and it's just getting them to update it for the new,
yeah,
uh, the new
yeah.
update and whatnot. So
Well,
I've been waiting forever, seems like, for Darkstar to update out a bunch of patches, and
see
just
what I
getting
would do
kind of
then is
antsy.
I would like Rosie Tannehill's a doctor I always have on my ship because if you have the functional infirmaries mod,
Hmm.
she's the only vanilla doctor in the game, meaning she has the medicine skill. If you have her assigned to your ship and you have the functional infirmaries mod, you can go into an infirmary, lay on the bed, and cure your injuries and cure your conditions. So what I would do is I would have the ship doctor's room from SPE on the ship,
Hmm.
and then the infirmary, and just have her set to be like 8 hours in her room and 16 hours there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would be really cool. But my concern would be if I have just a bunch of no named specialists all over the ship, they would clog everything. It'd be a lot of fun if I could pull it off. But I mean, that would be if I go that far down with the ship on my space tracker, I'm not building another ship on him unless I have to go through the Unity because
Yeah.
that would be bonkers to try to pull that off. It'd be a lot of fun if it could be having like 30 something crew on the ship and they all have their assignments and they go certain places during the night and day.
Right.
So, yeah, although
It might be
I'd
all
prefer
right
more
on
like a 12-hour cycle. That's what I'd want to do because then you could sign a weapon specialist 12 hours in his all-in-one berth, 12 hours at his seat in the control station.
You could have two of them and have them swap out.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah. So like in the vanilla all-in-one burst, the Stroud ones, there's 4 beds. So what I would do is like shift one, shift two, shift one. Like
Right.
two of the guys will be asleep in bed, or
Hmm.
on break, and then 2 guys will be at their assignment. So that way, if a crew member is ever sleeping, there's only one other person in the room with them.
Hmm.
So because
Right.
I can't sleep if somebody's snoring, so that helps. I think of these things for my crew members, well, especially this ship this huge one I'm building because it's meant as it's not a military design vessel. It's meant as a space exploration because I'm going to scan the entire solar system or the galaxy.
Yeah.
I'm going to aim for 100%. There was a guy on Starfield Lorecast that Jessica
Hmm.
Starr interviewed not
Yep.
long ago, her most recent one, where and I can't remember the guy's name, but he surveyed. He was like the first person I think to fully survey the galaxy down to everything, and he started a database.
Hmm.
He started a database and everything for it.
The problem is, uh, did you listen to that whole episode?
Yes.
Yeah, he mentioned that. Yeah, I've got a database for it, but I don't have a website, so you can't use his database.
Oh, I missed that detail.
He can use his database and he can
Yeah.
bring it up and share the video, which I didn't watch it. I didn't watch video version. I watched podcast version. I don't know if
Okay.
there was a video version of it. Um, but I would imagine he probably, if there's video of it, he probably shared the screen with Jessica and said, "Yeah, yeah, look, see, I got all this data and everything's here and it's got all this neat stuff and this is all pretty
Mhm.
colors and it's all color coded and everything." And she's like, "Well, where can I find that?" And he's like, I don't have a website yet."
Yeah, I was listening to it while I was driving the bus, so I sometimes I have to zone out from the podcast and focus on the road,
Right.
you know.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that with this. Once we finish Terran Armada questline, that's when I'm going to start doing that with this guy because we'll kind of work our way through all the other faction quests because we did Vanguard, and we're going to do Crimson Fleet,
You
Freestar,
see?
and
Yeah, freestyle, that's it.
Ryusion.
Right.
Yeah, all on my.
I'm excited to do the Rayusion with you because
Yeah.
you've never done it
Nope.
and I've only done it once.
Nope.
So
And this
that'll be fun.
pesky podcast just keeps delaying it for me.
Right. It'd be 5 years before you ever
Yeah.
finish the game.
Yeah. And then I'll take her through the main quest to have like a redemption arc where she's been living this life of crime and goes to the main quest, and then in the Unity at the very end, she's just faced with all the consequences of all the decisions,
Right.
that she's goes into
It's
her
just
second universe, and
death and destruction in the Unity.
yeah. So, all right,
You've crashed the economy. You've destroyed governments. The
yeah,
Crimson Fleet pirates are ruling the skies. And okay, so that's your choices. I guess you could try again.
yeah. And just leave that universe to rot while you go to a
Right.
new universe and make better decisions. So I'm gonna try
Yeah.
to force the alternate or the alternate universe that has because I've never gotten it by chance. So there's a way. I don't know if it's a mod or like something I can do on the PC where I command console it, but I can force the next universe. And so I want to take the one where your alternate version is already there in the lodge. So because that's typically if it says go to lodge mass district, that means it's vanilla. If it just says go to the lodge, that's an alternate universe. However, the one alternate universe that will still say the mass district thing is the one where the alternate version of you is already there, and you walk in right behind yourself as yourself has just arrived and
Oh,
and, and introduced themselves to the constellation, and so you see yourself turn around, you're like, whoa, and then I think you can have yourself be a crew member on your ship.
wow.
So
That's kind of crazy.
yeah, so I'm gonna try that. But that's a ways down the line. Probably do a round two on the main quest by that point. Oh boy,
Yeah.
well, not a lot of Terran Armada stuff to talk about, but all that mod talk and shipbuilding talk. I mean, we can
We jibber
talk.
jabbered quite a
We
bit, didn't
gibbered.
we?
Yeah, that's yeah. We talk usually what 2 mornings a week on my morning commute while you're
Yeah.
just
And
barely
it's
getting to
usually an
work, and
hour to 2 hours
yeah, just
on like
talking.
Tuesdays and Thursdays that we're chatting with each other. And
Yep,
so, yeah,
good
we
times.
talk a lot about this stuff.
All right, so what can people do here? Well, be sure to check out Starfield Sandwich with Solior and KDB.
Yep.
Solior, of course, has been I think with us 3 times now. He's they don't do as frequent. They don't have the quantity, but they have the quality. I like to say they don't record as often as us, but when they do, they really get into the meat and potatoes. And then of course Starfield Lorecast with Jessica Starr.
Mhm.
Uh, Starfield After Dark, that is a new podcast hosted by Pedro, who did the StarCon 2026. And
Yep. Don't forget Sweet Pea. She does
yep.
a lot of
Hmm.
videos on YouTube, and she quite often has verified creators on with her to
Hmm.
discuss their mods, and they do
Yeah.
real deep dives into each
Yeah.
creator's mods, and
Well, and she
she's
streams
fun to
on
watch.
Twitch, right?
Hmm.
Is it Twitch
I
or?
don't use Twitch, so I
Oh,
don't really know anything about Twitch.
okay. She probably does stream on Twitch and then maybe archives it on YouTube. I'll
Yeah,
double check with
that
her.
could be.
But yeah,
Yeah,
Sweet Pea 704. She's does the Tailored Spaces mod. She's got several mods that
fireplaces,
are yeah.
walls.
Yeah,
Yep,
a
the
lot of
sleep crate.
sleep crate. Yeah, a lot of outpost and building and decor related get mods with her stuff.
Yeah, she's real
Yeah,
instructive too. She's on Dark Star headquarters. That's
the Discord.
the Discord,
Yeah,
and if you instant message her or you message her there, she'll get with you. She's real instructive. She's super sweet. She'll help you if you need help. She's been a great help to me.
yep.
Getting load order information from her is it was super simple. She says, "Well, just send me your load order," and she looked through it and said, "Okay, well, this is kind of the direction you need to go," and just gives you. She gave me just basic instructions of where to place. Basically, do you want this here, these kind here, these kind here, these kind here, and
Mhm.
I followed it, and it fixed all my problems. I didn't have any crashing problems after that. So she's can't talk about her highly enough. She's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, she's great. Let's see. I think that wraps up all of our recommendations. And at this point, we're gonna go ahead and sign on out of here. Our next, we're gonna try to hammer out one mission per episode of the Terran Armada, kind of as quickly as we can, but only doing one mission per episode. So that way, if that bug that we talked about at the beginning, hopefully that gets fixed, and we can not talk about it ever again. But until it's fixed, we're going to talk about it every time, just in case we get new people listening to the podcast. We want them to be warned before they break their game and get pissed.
Right.
Yeah. So next week we'll do mission 2 of Terran Armada, and then I know we've got some out of town stuff both you and I have going on throughout this month. So hopefully we'll if we have to
Yeah, I just go
pre-record.
to northeast. in NTRPG, North Texas role playing game uh con
That's in
convention.
Dallas,
So
right?
yeah, it's in Dallas. It's
Okay.
a Dungeons and Dragons
Oh,
convention. It's
fun.
gonna be a lot of fun. I get all my buddies from high school that I did Dungeons and Dragons with. And that circle group of friends, there's like 4 or 5 of us are all gonna hang out, and it's gonna be a good time. Can't wait.
Nice. Man, I wish I had gotten into D&D when I was in high school and junior high because I totally would have enjoyed it. But I don't know, like, all my friends, we would have all loved it, but I don't know, just didn't
It
come
takes
across our
one really smart guy to read the rule book and start running a campaign to get something
true.
going.
You would have to have, yeah, and then yeah. So
That's the only way I got into it. I made some new friends when I moved to a new city, and one of them happened to be a role player, a D&D dungeon master. His old dungeon master accidentally got thrown in prison. Oops. And so somebody had to run the game, and since he had the most knowledge and experience, he's like picked up the mantle of running the game,
okay,
and that's how I got to to start playing it. So somebody was already running the game. But yeah, if you just had like my grandson, he's got several friends of his, and they're trying to play Dungeons and Dragons, and I sit in and kind of listen in to what they're doing, and it's a hodgepodge of made up rules, and I'm like, that's not how that works. What are you doing? You can't do that. That's not in the rules. Well, this is my game, and I run it this way. Okay.
yeah.
That's part of the fun, right?
Yeah, when I was playing D&D with my friends about 10 years back, oh, it was actually no, over 10 years ago. This is right before I met my wife. We played for about 2 years, and what we did was we created a party where all of us wanted to play, but we also understood how important it is that you have to have a DM. So what we did was we created this group was kind of a loose group where there was no overarching huge story, but
Yeah.
we would go anywhere between 3 to 5 sessions with one person doing the DM, and then so we would rotate DMs that way, and all we would do is explain why that person's player was not a part of this particular session. Like they went out of town for a couple months, So
Yeah.
we never were able to have a big grand epic story, but we liked it because it was just we were in, we were out, we weren't too hung up on any one little adventure, and we
Yeah.
each of us got to be DM because I like being DM and player equally. Um, so it's a lot of fun. So all right, well,
A lot of work
folks.
to be a DM. Right.
We are gonna get on out of here. It's been a fun recording with you as always, Jax, and yeah, I am definitely going to work on. It's going to take me a while to do a Hab showroom video on all those Habs. I might. I don't know if I'm going to break it up into 2 videos or not, or I might just do it one. I mean, there'll be a ton of timestamps for all the Habs, but it's going to be quite a doozy of a video doing all those showrooms. I won't do the windows and doors thing. Players will have to figure that out, but I'll at least go through each Hab, show you what's in them, and you know, let you see what's inside there. So
I'm gonna go update my console game and check out some of the new Habs, the splitters and the stairs and stuff. I've not.
yeah, update that mod because you'll
Yeah,
end
I'm
up
gonna update the
downloading
mod
all
and check
that.
it
Yeah.
out. Yeah,
So
be
cool
cool.
deal. All right. Well, thanks, Jax, for tuning in. Any final words?
As always, drive fast, take lots of chances.
All
Life's
right.
a participation sport, so get in there and join in.
Yep. Well, folks, thanks for tuning in to a Starfield Report podcast. If you have any feedback, be sure to send it into starfieldreport@gmail.com, specifically on the Terran Armada quest line. So next, if you have any feedback for missions 1 or 2, send that in so we can go over that next week. And obviously, if you ever have ship build pictures that you want to send in, send those in. We'll always cover those in each show. Other than that, folks, take care. We will see you in Starfield.
Well, look who's back. Everything go all right with the exam? Or did you have some questions you needed answered first?
Shutting